Welcome back, listeners. This will be part 2 of our interview with Mike Howard, which was released 2 days ago. So go and check that out. There will be a link in the show notes below. Get up to date with that one before you listen to this one. I'll leave a link in the show notes. Otherwise, enjoy the show. I will talk to you at the end. Episode 85 of the Fit Pro podcast.
Yeah, lean-minded has been an idea that's swimming around in my head for at least 4 or 5 years, but I didn't really, and actually the website is just starting to come to fruition, should be out next week. I operated under the company name Core Concepts Wellness, but the idea of lean-minded had sort of been initiated a few years ago at least. And again, it just encompasses this concept of taking a mindset first approach, a habits first approach, a very realistic approach to fat loss and a very sustainable approach to fat loss. So that's been in development, and the idea is that as much as I love the one-on-one training, I'd love to do that forever, to be honest. I like that human one-to-one contact for me is still very important. I enjoy my clients. I'm very, very fortunate to have a number of wonderful clients. I do eventually want to, you start to think about sustainability in terms of your own business and in your own path. And I think one of the better paths towards sustainability is taking things online, right? You can leverage things and you're not completely reliant on hour for dollar models. So that's where I'm taking it. And, most importantly, I'm able to help more people that way. You can help a higher volume of people and create a larger community.
Perfect. And are you going to implement like a private community on Facebook as well? Or what route are you going to
do? Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a public page, I guess a business page, as it were. Mm-hmm. But when people sign up for my Lean Minded program, we sort of build sort of a sub community, and I actually have an app that's been developed as well. So I have a Lean Minded app as well. So that's created another sort of micro community. It's almost like a very small Facebook community, private. So I have a private Facebook page for lean-minded members, and that's something I post on daily and just sort of ask people questions. It's sort of a two-way type of communication. So that there is a private forum there as well, and that's just to sort of keep people on track and just engage with them, nudge them, and just make sure they're nobody's left behind, as it were.
Right, you're going to have to send me a link once it's up, because I'd love to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
For sure. And now, for personal trainers that are out there, or fitness professionals that are out there and that are looking at starting their own app or building their own app, explain to them how hard or easy it is.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, are you talking specifically just with the app? Yeah. So I was very fortunate. I was connected with somebody, a local lady here, and she had started a tech company called Plaza. So I had no idea, and I'm still clueless about anything to do with the IT world. And I just outsource all of that. I'm like, okay, this is what I want. Please build it, and they'll tell me if it can be done or not. But she built an app for me in 5 minutes, which is interesting. So they have templates, right? So it's on this platform, and it's really not that difficult. So I pay a monthly fee, and it's on iOS as well as Android, and people just it's free. People sign up for it. So I thought building an app would be this mess, and to build one that's customized, of course, is more labor and expensive. Labor intensive and expensive, but you build this one, and it's more of a template, but you put your own stamp on it, which is awesome. You put your own branding on it, and like I said, it takes 5 minutes, and then like maybe a week to be approved by the Apple Store, and all of a sudden you've created it. Like, you can create things very, very easily nowadays when it comes to like websites and apps and that sort of thing. So I can send you the link for that as well after. And just if anybody's interested, I don't know if you have show notes or what have you, but so that part was pretty easy. So now it's a matter of seeing how I can leverage it to get more engaged people in there and get people signing up for it and create content that matters to people.
Perfect.
Customize it. So, yeah.
And so you mentioned the word outsourcing. Now, this is always a hot topic, and I'm all for doubling down on your strengths and outsourcing your weaknesses.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
So, what is your opinion on outsourcing things that you could do given the amount of time? Like, if you had time, you could do it. But if you want to get things done at a decent pace, what is your opinion on outsourcing stuff?
Oh man, game changer! I love it. It used to be Elance. It's now called Upwork. And you know what? If you're listening out there and you're new to this game and you're trying to build an online platform, any kind or any type of tech stuff, right? So I'm just now starting to outsource some of my content management because I'm finding that's taking too long. So exactly what you said, man. Outsource things that aren't part of your skill set, or you just find a general pain in the ass to do. Like, so for me, it's that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is painstaking. I don't like being on my computer that long. So, you know what? And you can normally, I would say my success rate is probably 85 to 90% finding good freelancers on Upwork. And it can be done in a very cost-effective way. So I've had people convert, vanilla Word documents to nice looking PDFs on my branding, with my branding, my logos, web stuff, landing pages. Somebody converted my ebook that I wrote. So all this stuff can be converted and not at a very expensive, bottom line as well. So I absolutely recommend just hitting up Upwork and finding a freelancer there, and you can do it on the cheap, and you get, like I said, for the most part, very, very skilled people, eager people, and the job's done fast and reasonably effective with not a lot of stumbling blocks. So highly recommend it.
I highly recommend it as well. I mean, I'm all for... I'm all for doubling down on my strengths and just letting somebody else deal with my weaknesses.
Absolutely,
and I mean, again, if I had the time to do it, I would probably learn how to do it myself, because I feel like that's how you obviously grow, make yourself a little bit more valuable. But if your end goal is to be something a little bit more, then you don't need to learn that right now. Somebody else can do it for you.
Yeah, so, for sure. Absolutely. Huge fan. Yeah.
You mentioned ebook. All right. What's your ebook about?
Yeah, so I created that about 4 years ago now. It's called Talking Back to Diet Gurus, an unrevolutionary and unsexy guide to fat loss. So basically, the idea of that book came about is that, I was bubbling over with frustration with the industry as a whole, specifically the diet book industry, and I felt it's very detrimental in 99% of the cases to the overall goal of getting the world healthier, getting the world fit, getting the world leaner. So I would say the book is two parts, kind of tongue-in-cheek look at some of the deception of the diet book industry and some of the tricks they use and some of the, I guess, just the run-of-the-mill BS, right? So I take a big chunk out of that industry and just really, really kind of hammer down on why it's ineffective over the long term, and we dive into some of the critical thinking errors when it comes to and some of the tactics and deception that they use to sort of lure people in, and then it's going. Yeah, exactly. And then one part sort of practical, no nonsense. Here's a good template on how to do things. Here's a realistic look at it, and here's how to go about it. So, so that's and that's still sort of swimming around on Amazon somewhere. But so the new project is going to be sort of taking that into an opposite way in terms of, okay, it's a mindset first approach to fat loss. I'm not going to be talking about the industry so much. I'm going to cut to the chase on just how to best help people, just drawing from my industry experience and then the research and show people how to sort of align, their mind, heart, and environment to sustainable success and their best health.
Awesome. So you're writing another book now then?
I am. So this one is going to be a print book. I'm hoping for like a early 2018 release. So yeah, I've got most of it. It's funny. I'm a bit of a scatterbrain. So I've got most of it written, but like some of it's Word documents, some of it's in PDF, some of it's in pieces all over the place, man. So like I've got to get that organized, and the minor details of finding an editor and somebody that'll publish it, that sort of thing. But I'll deal with that. I'll sort of write it and see if see what it comes of it anyway. And if I have to self-publish, I'll self-publish. But yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, a lot of people are self-publishing and doing fairly well nowadays. So I mean, it's not out of the question.
Yeah.
But for somebody that's never even thought about it, and for some reason they've listened to this podcast today, for only good reasons, they've listened to this podcast today, and you've just given them a brain fart, and they've said, "Yep, I'm gonna write an ebook. That's what I need to do." How does someone get started at writing an ebook?
Right. Well, I mean, first of all, find what you're passionate about. What do you what do you think the people need, and then balance that with what you're passionate and knowledgeable about. Just write it. Oh my gosh, like I spend so much time deliberating when I'm writing, and my problem is just writing consistently. And and every blogger that's been successful has always said the same thing. Just write. Even if you write down a few shitty sentences a day and it doesn't make any sense, you can always go back and refine it. But just write and write what you're passionate about. I quote sort of Somerset Maugham, an old playwright, when it comes to this, and he says he only writes when the inspiration strikes, and he's like, fortunately, it strikes every morning at 9 o'clock, right? So make the time for the writing. Write it, and then actually, again, you go to a place like Upwork, and they can convert all that. It's actually relatively easy to put it on Amazon after that, once they've sort of formatted it. And you know what? I wrote it thinking, okay, I actually wrote it initially to put as part of this health bundle that, and I was teaming up with a bunch of other authors in the industry. So you can sort of go that route, because I think that's still somewhat popular. But and you know what? Who cares if you don't sell any copies? But now you're a published author, right? You're sort of seen as somewhat of an authority in whatever realm it is, and you can use it as a selling point. And I've both sold it, but I've also used it as an email capture, right? I've given the book away for free and gotten people's emails in response. So there's a lot of things that you can do with it in terms of marketing tools. But I would say, just write it. Just sit down, write it, and you learn a ton while you're writing these things too, because I found myself going down these rabbit holes of PubMed and just saying, okay, if I put this out there, I want to make sure, and I had other people read it to make sure that the information was credible. And like I said, it's a good self-educational tool as well. But just write.
Just write. Perfect. And
Just write.
Just a little bit of an insider moment, but I'm actually in the process of writing my ebook as well.
Awesome. That's great.
I'm sort of hacking it a little bit in the sense that I've already created the content. I've been creating the content for the last year. So
nice.
What I'm doing is, when we talked about outsourcing, I'm taking my 50 best episodes that I've done, getting and someone from Upwork to transcribe those episodes, and then I'll break that down and make that into chapters.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so you're way ahead of me when it comes to that stuff. That's awesome. That's good.
So there's a bit of a hack for the listeners. If you already got content and it's pretty good,
yeah,
and because sometimes people are just lazy and they don't want to go and look for the information. They want the information given to them. When you can break it down, summarize it, and give them all the information in one package, they love that. and I have nothing against that, so I love that as well.
No, and they will pay for that. That's the thing. And I think we're in this time of our technology right now where people think, oh, well, you can just get everything for free. Why would people pay for that? But it's absolutely what you said. I mean, I think people will still pay for organized, categorized, logically placed information. And, I think we're branching. And again, my mentor told me once, we're not so much in the information age anymore as we are in the inspiration age. So, awesome. We're transitioning a little bit. I feel like there is a paradigm shift coming, and there's a lot of noise. And I think people need to sift through the noise, because you can find anything, but there's almost an inverse relationship between the amount of information available and the state of our health, right? I mean, it's not like people are getting healthier as more information becomes available. So we have to find ways as coaches to translate some of that information into actionable, practical steps for people. And I think you're absolutely right. And there's always that question of, how much content do we give out for free? But I remember Seth Godin saying once, if people sense that you give a lot away for free, they know you have more. Like they think they see you as this almost endless source of information. And again, that's something that they will pay for, right? And I think I believe in giving first, right? And just you put it out there, and eventually people will see you as enough of a source of information that they'd be willing to pay for your opinions or your work.
Love it. I love that quote, inspiration age. That's great. Nothing.
Yeah, and that's Brian Grasso right there again.
Brian
Grasso. Yeah.
Look him up for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Mike, where do you see yourself? Because we're coming to the end of the episode, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Yeah, so next 5 years, again, I want to have a book published based on my lean-minded principles. I want to make a lot of my work on the online sphere. I want to just make myself a little bit more mobile, create things that are a little bit more sustainable. After that, I want to write another book about children's health. So that's going to be the next step after that. So I'm hoping to have 2 or 3 books published. After the children's health book, I do want to write something that's geared towards fitness professionals, just based on my experiences and mostly the screw-ups and mistakes I've made that, I don't think other people should make. So yeah, I've had a lot of missteps too, right? I've had a lot of failures. So I really want to be able to give back, in a way, because I felt like, I would be nowhere right now if it weren't for some of the people that have gone ahead of me and a lot of the people that I've learned from. So I just feel like I have an obligation to give back in that way. So I want to write a book that's geared towards the fitness professional, sort of a bit of a blueprint on what to do to be successful and follow your calling and your passions. So I would say that's sort of what I want to do in the next 5 years. That's probably it.
Beautiful. And dude, you're quite inspirational, being in the industry for so long, still loving it, still moving forward. Hopefully I'm not making you blush too much, but... Oh,
yeah, I am blushing. I'm glad we're not on video right now. I'm trying to cry. There's a tear right.
It's easy, man. It's easy, man. You've created that value. It's out there. And, there's still people that don't know who you are. I didn't know who you were until you approached me and we spoke, and now there's still people that don't know who you are, so your work's not done. You've still got a long way to go. Australia's untouched. You need to start doing stuff in Australia. But look, that is the end of today's episode as far as let's say helpful information. But Mike, how can the listeners find you? Where are you most, and what are the links, basically?
Yeah, I think the easiest way is just through my Facebook page. So it's facebook.com/leanminded, and then social media, Instagram, I'm at leanminded, Twitter at lean_minded, and lean-minded my website is going to be built within the week. So that's just leanminded.com. So yeah, you can find me there, and yeah, no, I'd be happy to sort of connect with people in the industry. I love it. I enjoy the banter. I enjoy the learning. So no, and you know, I learned something from everybody. It's awesome, and that would be my one message to people who are prospective fitness professionals is just, learn more, never stop learning, right?
Awesome. I love it. And I mean, Mike, you create a lot of content. I've seen you've made some videos as well. How do you sign off on your content? Do you have anything you need to say? Because I have no idea how to sign off on any sort of podcast. I feel like I should be an expert at signing off on a podcast by now. But man, I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah, that's hilarious because I think I think I'm in the same boat as you, Marvin. Because at the end, I feel like I've expended all of my brain energy,
just
and
turn
then
it off.
like, okay, yeah. And so it's haphazard, but yeah, I think signing off with either like some sort of catchphrase that isn't too kitschy, but like or just like giving how people can get a hold of you, I think is always a good bet. Is just say, hey, I'm here to help. At the end, look, if you have questions, I'm here. I think that that resonates with people. That's something people can relate to. So I think that's it. And I say that, you know, knowing that I don't do that myself, but I thank you for reminding me. So I think it'd be good to have sort of a sign off like that, right? But just to say, hey, I'm here if you have any questions, and this is how you get a hold of me, right? I think that sort of goes a long way.
Perfect. So we're both here if you have any questions. There is links in the show notes below on this episode if you're on the website. If you're on iTunes, make sure you subscribe to today's episode. But Mike, thanks for coming on. We'll have to do this again. There's not enough hours in the day.
Absolutely, Marvin. No, I appreciate this immensely, and take care. And this has been awesome. It's great to chat.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys, and
okay.
Peace. And that is the end of today's episode with Mike Howard and the end of the interview with Mike Howard. Hopefully you enjoyed it, again, as much as I enjoy recording these. I really get a lot out of these interviews because I'm learning while you're learning. Mike has a wealth of knowledge. We'll have to do this again, but in order to stay on top of your game, in order to stay on top of the podcast, make sure you are subscribed on iTunes. It is quite easy if you're on an Apple device. Click the album art, it'll spin around, give us a 5-star review, click the subscribe button. And if you're on any other podcast platform, it is also quite easy to subscribe. It's usually punching you in the face. Otherwise, guys, make sure you are talking to me on Twitter at FitProPodcast. I live there. And on Instagram as well, at FitProPodcast. I live there. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I will catch you on the next one.